Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Souliatos, brought to you by his amazing book, The Bible of Bodybuilding 2, over 700 pages, training, nutrition, supplementation, and PED info, everything you need to build your best physique, available on Amazon.com. And while you're on Amazon.com buying books, you should buy the Ron Harris book, Real Bodybuilding. What a great book. Now, all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome Dr. George Touliatos. How are you, Doc?
Hello, Ron. Have a nice week. So
So,
let's move to the.
yeah, we actually got a new classic star out of Europe over the weekend. A guy out of Hungary named Laszlo Kirali, and they're already saying this guy could push Chris Bumstead. And that's kind of quick,
Oh,
kind of very fast to say that, but he looks really good, this kid.
by the way, I'm gonna meet the coach of Chris Baum in 2 days from now, and I'll give him my new book. He's cruising to the islands, and so I met Hani Ramba twice, once in Las Vegas and once in Dubai last year. And we're gonna have a lunch on Wednesday and give him my book and say hi.
Yeah, so Hani was in Italy. He's affiliated with Panada too. Everybody over there is affiliated with
Yes,
Panada.
also Phil, he's signed with Panata, and as we speak, Ron Coleman is in Piro. So Panata, yeah, buys everybody.
I even saw on Hani's Instagram that his son Cameron, Panada makes workout equipment for children. It's like really colorful. It looks like little machines, like kid versions, but it's resistance training for children. That's amazing.
Nice.
That's like a think. I think we've all thought of that. Like, why don't they make workout equipment for kids? But like, nah, and Panada goes ahead and does it. So
Yeah,
guy's on the
he's
ball.
pioneer. Yeah, very pioneer.
Absolutely. I mean, all these years nobody did that, so finally he did it. So we have a lot of questions, Doc. It's summertime. Everybody wants to get in great shape, so they're coming to Dr. T for answers to all their questions. So let's get right into it. First question: why does testosterone enantiate increase my diastolic blood pressure? I'm taking 2 shots of small doses per week, but even a small shot increases my diastolic blood pressure. What's the meaning of this, and what do I do?
Well, we have to understand that testosterone and steroids, but usually steroids that aromatize contribute to water retention, either from aromatization, but also from kicking aldosterone that retains sodium and water as a result. So this is a very fundamental mechanism how the blood pressure is increasing. The diastolic now refers to the heart, while the systolic to the brain. And well, you have to be below 140 to 90. Actually, the new standards are 135 to 85. So if you're over 85, the low pressure, the diastolic, you should consider cutting the salt, perhaps, and increasing the cardio, or taking perhaps potassium to excrete more sodium, and avoid the stimulants, all right? And if it's over 90, then you should consider taking an antidepressant medication.
Okay, fair enough. Here's a good one. It's a dietary question. Doc, I've heard both you and Stan Efferding say when cutting, you should eat all the protein first, and when bulking, you should eat all your carbs first. How effective is this? And is there any research to validate this? What happens to the
Yes, there's
body?
actually, yeah, 10 years ago when I was preparing for my last show, there was a study by Harvard and was posted on Facebook. I mean, the page of Harvard on Facebook saying that don't eat that bread in first place at the restaurant. And the reason because the bread, the white bread, has no fiber, it spikes the insulin. As a result, it will lead to hyperglycemia, and hypoglycemia right afterwards, the pancreas kicks some insulin to lower this glucose. So this will appetite your stimulation, because hypoglycemia also kicks hunger, okay? That's why you should eat your protein first, your salad also, and then eat your carb. And your carb preferably should be starchy. So let's say brown rice and a sweet potato. Now, when we are bulking, we should eat first the basmati. Now, this is a little bit detailed, but it makes a difference. During carb loading also, I would say if you want to kick your insulin, eat the basmati first and the potato and the rice cakes, and then eat your chicken, let's say. But if you eat in first place your salmon and your salad, then you slow down the insulin release. You know, and the best thing is to do eat protein, essential fatty acids, and fiber. So let's compare somebody who is eating white pasta and salmon with somebody who eats whole grain pasta and salmon. Obviously, the fiber from the whole grain pasta will slow down the insulin, right? Salmon also will as a protein, and also because it is enriched in essential fatty acids, the good fats. Okay, so I believe, yes, it makes a difference. So during bulking, post-workout, you have to eat white bread first, basmati, to kick, and then 5 minutes after your protein. It's like eating maltodextrin, drinking maltodextrin, for instance, or dextrose, and right after drink your whey isolate.
So when you're bulking, if you eat all your carbs first, though, what if you don't have an appetite after that to finish your protein?
You have to, you must. I mean, you eat a certain amount of carbs. I mean, you don't eat everything, but leave some room also for your protein. But you have to know that during bulking, we have the essential amount of protein, but carbs have to be double the protein. Otherwise, you don't bulk because you don't release enough insulin, IGF-1. And without insulin, there's no major anabolics.
Wow.
Because the nutrients are not rushed into the muscle.
I've been doing it wrong all these years, doctor, because I've always eaten either the protein first or mixed it all together like chicken and rice, just eat it all at once, one big bowl. Even when bulking, I would do that. Because I always feel like if I don't eat the protein first, protein is always to me the most important thing. So I don't want to.
It is. Yeah. The point is, kick your insulin first.
Okay.
You can eat a little bit something to kick to start working your insulin, because protein doesn't kick that much insulin, It's very good for the diet. People who want to diet, skip the carbs, but eat for satiety protein salad. Okay. I want to stay lean all year round. That's why I don't care about carbs. And besides, I'm 50, I cannot grow massively because of my joints, right? And it's risky now. So I don't have a major concern of that. I'm not paranoid with bulking, I don't want to look fat again.
No. Well, that's interesting because I never knew that, when you eat the bread.
Patrick also ensured that was the chemist, he's a brilliant in biochemistry. Yeah. Patrick also wrote this article saying, do not eat the bread that they serve you in the restaurants, because this is a trick. They do this in order to order more food, because you eat the bread, you start becoming hungry.
See, I had that all backwards because I would never touch the bread because I don't want to ruin my appetite. I didn't know it was going to give me more of an appetite because, everyone else is eating the bread. And I'm like, no, I don't want any bread. So they know when we go out to eat, my whole family, friends, no one ever offers me the bread because they know I'm not.
Of course, you shouldn't touch the bread if you're on a diet, but it's no problem if you don't care about that, and you just have workout and you go to a restaurant.
Gotcha. All right, here we go. Cycle question. Is it okay to run a cycle consisting of only tren, enantiate, and anavar? No test, just tren and anavar.
Not good for the libido, not good also for the fat-burning effects of testosterone and the strength effects of testosterone. So why to avoid testosterone that works much better than anavar in matters of strength? All right, then anavar is because testosterone aromatizes, anavar doesn't aromatize. So you're not going to see some gains out of retention, because this is what bulk is about. Now, if you want to look dry, use propionate testosterone, but do not take it out of the equation.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's why he's doing this for some sort of a cutting cycle. He wants to look leaner. That's why he chose tren and anavar. Assuming this is a male.
Right, you can use also masteron instead of testosterone. All right. Let's say you're going to look super dry. Masteron, anavar, and trenbolone. Yes, this is the, let's say, last week cycle, one of the compounds that you're using. You replace propionate with masteron.
Okay. All right. A question from a man about his wife. My wife is 45 years old and is at the beginning of menopause. Mood swings, periods all over the place. Can she start TRT now in order to reduce the effects of menopause, or is it better to wait until after menopause to start TRT? Also, what would be
actually for women it's HRT. Testosterone is part of the HRT, but to a very minor degree. And actually, HRT in women happens 6 months post menopause. So for 6 months, they shouldn't have any period, like when they are pregnant, for instance, and then start taking estrogens progesterone, testosterone, DHEA.
So not just tests, because this guy wants to know.
No, I get a very small amount, 0.5% of testosterone every day.
He was talking about maybe
0.5.
giving her. He was asking for a good sustanon dose, like 25
Oh
milligrams.
my
per week.
God! What? Oh, she said bargain.
I mean, 25 milligrams a week is nothing, but still, all those other hormones you just listed, they should all be used, not just
The
tests.
cream works much better in women because
really?
it increases sexual pleasure if you apply it to the clitoris.
Oh boy. Okay, let me get some of that. But yeah, you know, my wife's been doing. She's been going through menopause for like, I think it's been almost 2 years now. It's like never ending, and we keep waiting for, like you said, it's got to be 6 months with no period. I think it's
Ron,
actually that. Yeah.
Take a blood test, and the estrogens have to be really low. All right, and then you understand that it's over with the period. So let's start introducing to the HRT.
She still gets her period though. She's 52 years old. It's ridiculous. 52. You know how old she was when she started getting her period? 9.
Usually women that keep a long period lately, they started late also, but 9 is in elementary school.
Yes. Yeah, she's
Crazy.
Cuban. It's like never ending. This chick will not stop having her period. All right, let's move on. Is it safe taking, oh, I don't know what this is. Ezetimibe. It's EZETEMIBE, ezetimibe, for cholesterol and red yeast rice together. I have high cholesterol, but my triglycerides are perfect. Also, if I'm on test or off test, the lipids panel doesn't change dramatically. Thanks, Eugenio.
So, ezetimibe is the Zetia drug that I'm also taking 10 milligrams that lowers the triglycerides and elevates the HDL. It doesn't work that much in LDL that statins work. So ezetimibe is for the HDL to elevate it. So we have a medication also for the HDL. It's like the fibrate that also elevate HDL and lower triglycerides. And the reason of red right yeast, I guess, is because he's working out. He doesn't want to short his muscles. So he works red right yeast, but if you have a calcium score, then it's not enough. You need a statin, because in the long run, Connor believes that we can decalcify.
Yeah, I'm on that statin. Here's a good one. If steroids were completely legal and pharmaceutical at any dose, would you prescribe a cycle to a healthy young gym goer who just wanted to look better? Some say steroids should be legal, but in this day and age, would doctors be worried about lawsuits and liability over side effects? Pharmaceutical companies got sued over legal TRT. Would they manufacture steroids even if they were legal?
So this thought is wrong, because first of all, steroids are legal. The illegal are the underground. So anybody can get steroids if they go to the doctor. At least in America. In Greece, we can get legal steroid without a prescription. Okay.
Right.
And second, at any dose is their own perception. We use medications at a proper dose. Aspirin, 100 milligrams, not 1 gram. Otherwise, we're going to have the side effect. So at any dose, no, this is the wrong. You can take anabolics at small dose if you have burns, if you have muscle wasting, if you have anemia, if you have bone fractures, but at any dose, because steroids simply were not made for athletes. They're made for patients. Yeah. And they're not illegal. That's why they're not stopping producing them in the pharmacies. But of course, the need is very low because very few doctors have this knowledge. But the pharmaceutical companies are still making steroids because they're valuable. All right. Of course, the demands are not so high out of the bodybuilding community. And this is also the responsibility of the doctors that are not aware and they want to prescribe much expensive drugs, like, let's say, EPO instead of steroids, or some other drugs for building bone tissue. Yeah. Anyway, so I would prescribe somebody had, those indications, but at not a massive amounts. Well, 100 milligrams of DECA would be sufficient for somebody who had a bone fracture, or anemia, but definitely not for a bodybuilder.
The way pharmaceutical companies operate, they're huge corporations. They're out to make profits for their shareholders. If they thought there was big money in steroids, they would find a way to make steroids available to more people because
I
they
think
can
it's
make
the
more money.
stigma, as we call it, beliefs. The stigma, and listen, it's very risky making massive amounts of steroids they would certainly escape out of the medical ward and go to the sports.
Yeah, they'd fall off
It's
the back
very
of the
risky,
truck.
escaping from there, and then it's the Pandora's box. You open it, you're losing it.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens with pain meds. I don't know what percentage of pain medications don't end up going to legitimate pharmacies. They fall off the back of a truck or something.
Yeah,
Oxycontin.
so they have problem with steroids, but they don't have problem with barbiturates that are highly prescribed, and you can die in a blink of an eye.
We have a massive opioid problem in the United States. Massive.
Nubain, do you remember Nubain?
Yeah, well, Nubain's gone, but
in the 90s, yeah, it was opiate. It was synthetic morphine, something like that.
Yeah, it was very similar. It was a synthetic opioid. I don't know how strong it was, but a lot of bodybuilders were on it. Giles has talked about it a long time. He was addicted to it for years at one point. A lot of people were, because they didn't think it was like a recreational drug.
I was addicted to codeine, which is given also for bone fractures. It causes constipation. It can slow your breathing, and you can die while you're sleeping.
Oof, yeah, I don't want that. All right, calf training question. I've trained calves hard for years with no results, yet I see people who never trained at all with big calves. Are calves all genetic? I do see some people who carry heavy loads around with big calves. Is it possible calves only respond to very long, continuous, medium intensity work and not gym style training? Should I join a construction crew and just carry a heavy bucket around all day?
I think calves, as Rich Kashpari also said, you need to train them more than once a week because they have high resistance to lactate. Always incorporate static and seated for the solos and the gastrocnemius, but always heavy load over 15 to 20 reps. The same with forearms. So they don't grow 6 to 8 reps. You need to go as heavy as you can, but higher rep rate.
Yeah. That's because, Arnold talked about that, because there's that old legend about how we went to Reg Park in South Africa.
Also, Arnold have very long bones. Dorian, Jay, and Branch have much shorter tibia, tibia bone.
It's also, people should understand, the shorter your calf muscle is, the higher, the higher it inserts.
Same with biceps,
Yeah, for anything. If you have a long muscle, I see fat people, not just fat people, but there's people I see at the gym. There's one guy, he always wears shorts and he always has a big sweatshirt because he doesn't have much muscle in his upper body, but genetically he has these huge calves. They insert right next to his heels.
Everything is genetic.
So he's always showing his heel. But speaking of the construction, Kefalianos, the Greek bodybuilder, he's talked about years ago. He told me his job was carrying like rocks, heavy tiles up and down stairs all day, and that's how he got his legs, the foundation for his leg development. Yeah, I mean, gotta do something. And our final question for this episode: while on TRT, can males who are still contribute to can you still start a family and have children if you're on TRT? Is basically what he's asking.
I would never leave the HCG since 2016 when I started, apart from very short periods that I run out of it.
Yeah.
So definitely you can still. I mean, many of my patients are running HCG along with HMG, and they can fertilize. So you don't need to come off. Let's say, come off from steroids, but you can use your testosterone along with HCG. This is the fertility protocol. Otherwise, your balls will shrink and the ejaculation volume. Yeah. So you can do it.
Anyway, that's our show for this week, guys. If you have questions for the next episode, please leave them below. We'll get to them in a future episode. And we don't get to all the questions sometimes. Sometimes if they're about peptides or whatever. Dr. George knows a lot, but nobody knows everything. And these peptides are a fairly new thing, so we don't always have the answers to those. But we do have answers to everything else. So please subscribe to the channel. If you like these videos, give them a like. Share them on your social media platforms so more people can have exposure to this information. We're very, very lucky to have Dr. George every week sharing his expertise and his vast knowledge with us. So thank you, Doctor. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. This has been Ask Dr. Testosterone with George Tuliatos. We'll see you next time. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.